Hey, what's up, folks? It's Space Traveler back again. If you haven't already, don't forget like. All your comments are welcome. Bada bing, bada boom. Enjoy the show. Today we have an interesting show. It's my absolute most favorite living human on the surface of Earth today. Today we are going to be interviewing Elon Musk. Greetings, Elon. Can you please tell my viewers how you're communicating with us today and as much information about that you wish to elaborate on?
I'm in flight currently, so this is a Starlink in flight. How Starlink works in an airplane at altitude. There are a number of airliners that have Starlink, and there will be a lot more in the future. The Starlink connection, when assuming it's working properly, is you won't even be able to tell you're on the ground or in the air. Because unlike a geosynchronous satellite, the latency is really can be less than 20 milliseconds. So in fact, for a lot of, I think for some people, the Starlink connection on the plane will be better than their connection at their house.
That's really awesome, Elon. Well, what about this Starship? What are you gonna get that thing off the ground? Do I need to stay at a near Earth orbit so it doesn't pick me off when you're blasting through?
Well, we have the second one stacked at Starbase, so it's ready to go. And we just finished that up in the last week. We believe we've completed the remaining items requested by the FAA, so we should get our license hopefully soon. But really, the only thing holding back second flight of Starship at this point is regulatory approval. It's just a question of timing. How long does it take to get the approval, paperwork, and whatnot? So that's really up to the FAA at this point. We are doing a new staging technique called hot staging, where you light the upstage engines or the ship engines while the boost stage is still firing. And this is the most efficient way to do stage separation of a rocket going to orbit. But we did not try that on the last mission, and we're trying it on this mission. We think it will be overall better. But I think probably have I hope well over 50% chance of getting to stage separation, and maybe a close to 50% chance of getting to orbit if the hot staging, the new separation method, works. So I'd say maybe it's above. I'd say probably above 30% chance of getting to orbit this time, whereas previously I said below 50. Making a rocket that is more than twice the size of the Saturn V. It's in fact, with the next rev of the rocket, it'll have roughly 3 times the thrust of a Saturn V moon rocket. Moreover, it's designed to be fully and rapidly reusable, whereas the Saturn V was completely expandable, and with Falcon 9, we still expand the upper stage, but we bring back the boost stage, as people have probably seen the rocket landing videos, and the thing that So there's the scale of Starship, but then also the fact that it is designed for full and rapid reusability. So that both the booster and the ship come back to the launch site. They get caught by these giant Mechazillons. You've seen Kong versus Godzilla. It's basically that. Catches this giant rocket out of midair and puts it back on the launch stand and gets ready for launch. So it will be capable of basically aircraft level flight rates. But it's much bigger than, say, a 747 or an A380.
All right, Elon, I only got one more question for you. Just go ahead and elaborate as much as you need to on this topic. Would you like to clear the air with the whole Starlink thing and the Crimea thing and Ukraine and the guy that wears stilettos?
Yeah, Isaacson was actually mistaken a little bit in his understanding of the situation. Obviously, SpaceX have provided Starlink connectivity for to Ukraine really since the beginning of the war. We're really within I think a few days of the war starting. And as the Ukrainian government said, the Starlink was instrumental in the defense of Ukraine. So, they've said that really many times, although the media forgets to mention that. And in fact, they've said it on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, what they posted. So Starlink has been incredibly helpful to the Ukraine war effort. We've gone out of pocket very significantly to help them, but at the time this happened, the region around Crimea was actually turned off. Now, the reason it was turned off was actually originally was because the United States had sanctions against Russia, and we were not allowed to actually, and that includes Crimea in the sanctions, and we're not allowed to actually turn on connectivity to a sanctioned country without explicit government approval, which we did not have from the U.S. government. So basically, Ukraine didn't give us any advance warning or heads up or anything. We just got the sort of urgent calls from the Ukrainian government saying that we needed to turn on Crimea. It's like in the middle of the night, basically. And we're like, what are you talking about? About like a Pearl Harbor type attack on Sebastopol, on the Russian fleet in Sebastopol. So they're really asking us to really proactively take part in a major act of war. While we certainly have huge empathy and support for the Ukrainian government, the Ukrainian government is not in charge of U.S. People or companies. Yeah. But I should say that, although I'm not President Biden's biggest fan, if I had received a presidential directive to turn it on, I would have done so, because I do regard the president as the chief executive officer of the country. Whether I want that person to be the president or not, I still respect the office. And so if I gotten a request from the president type of thing, from the American president, to be clear, then I would have turned it on, but no such request came through. To his credit, Secretary Blinken was actually quite supportive, despite the absurd, accusations and leading questions of Jake Tapper on CNN. That is, I should say, like a lot of people have contributed to the effort, Starlink is the fundamental communication backbone of the Ukrainian government and essential services like first responders and that kind of thing. And it, is used, we hope relatively peacefully on the war front. It is the only thing that works on the war front. Everything else is being jammed by the Russians. So it's the only thing that works, not one of the things. Think of, say, taking the actual example of Pearl Harbor and say, like, well, how did that work out for Japan? It didn't work out well at all. Right. Because it was a tactical victory, a strategic defeat. It enraged the American public, who sort of naturally wanted vengeance for the SAC, the SAC. And I think that while I don't think it's on the same scale, that there was certainly that potential of sort of a mini Pearl Harbor, with resulting in a mass escalation of hostilities. But this would not defeat Russia. It would enrage Russia. I'm actually not sure what the final accounting is at this point, but I think at one point you calculated our sort of cost of supporting things at roughly $100 million. Now, the $100 million does not count the massive risk to the entire Starlink constellation, because Russia would like to have the entire thing deleted. Nobody's compensating us for that. So if we were to get, say, our control center were take down in a cyber attack, they command all the satellites to the orbit and destroy the entire system, or use anti-satellite weapons. This is a pretty significant risk, for which we have not received any compensation, and obviously would be catastrophic to the entire Starlink system, which is approaching $10 billion. $10 billion. And then, actually, I'd say one of the rather vexing things was, as you've seen, there's a very large amount of money that's been appropriated for Ukraine. I'm not sure what the total is at this point, but it must be close to 100 billion, or somewhere between 80 and 100 billion. Now all of the other sort of providers, U.S. providers of support to Ukraine are being paid. So then, why should SpaceX be excluded? That doesn't make sense. We're doing one of the most valuable things, and yet are getting the least money. This is absurd. But despite that, we're still happy to keep going, and not aspects of interests aligned with President Biden, who probably do not wish good things for me. I don't know, really what their issue is, but there does seem to be a significant increase in the weaponization of government, and I'd say really sort of misuse of prosecutorial discretion in many areas where, and I think this is really a dangerous thing for for I don't know. For there to be partisan politics with government agencies, it's just really, and then I think from say a Democratic Party standpoint, or say Biden administration standpoint, I think this is the danger here is that if there's significant misuse of prosecutorial discretion. Let's say one says, okay, everyone's equal under the law. Yes, but who are you choosing to pursue? And if you're pursuing what appear to independent voters to be trivial cases while ignoring serious crimes, it's hard to imagine that a lot of independent voters that's going to win over thoughtful independent voters.
Thanks again now to all my subscribers for all your continued support. And if you're not a subscriber, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. And if you don't, that's fine. Don't worry. I'm not going to come and probe you. But you will miss out on a ton of great content and some alien insight. Space Traveler signing out. For now. Anyway.